Welcome back. Now, Narendra Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, was in the US recently, wherein he met with Donald Trump, and there were a lot of exchanges that were detailed during the course of their discussion. One of those was in the defense realm. And in the defense realm, it was said by Donald Trump that India will be buying a certain number of F-35 stealth jets from the US in 2025. Now, this news has had different reactions within India, in the opposition, and in certain media, as well as in a Pentagon report as well. There are certain question marks that have emanated as far as the F-35 stealth jets reputation is concerned. Then, of course, there is also the Pakistan angle and this race for increasing the defense machinery. And we've had a statement by our Foreign Office spokesperson as well in this very regard. We'll be highlighting different aspects of that, and we've been joined by two guests for this segment as well. Let me introduce them to you one by one in the studios. We've been joined by our dear former Ambassador Naela Chohan, who's also a very eminent foreign affairs analyst. Thank you very much, Naela Chohan, to have joined us. And we've also been joined by Fahad Masood, who's an international security analyst. Fahad, thank you very much to have joined us as well. We'll begin with you, Naela Chohan. Trump says after meeting Narendra Modi in Washington last week that they are going to start selling F-35 stealth jets to India starting from this very year, that is 2025, and will eventually be providing these stuff that are being made by Lockheed Martin. The cost is around $80 million US. Also, the Indian government has said it does not intend to buy the plane, and India's foreign secretary told reporters last week that the US offer was at a proposal stage, adding that the acquisition process had not begun. My question is, with all the media hullabaloo that is going on in the Indian media, the pros and the cons that are being discussed in India, not in Pakistan, will it or will this deal not happen? Is India under pressure to maybe not accept this deal?
It's a very good question. We have to look at it in the context, because as you must have watched Mr. Trump's statement, and he is very concerned that the trade deficit is not acceptable to United States of America, because as yet the trade was in favor of India. Now, Mr. Trump emphasized that firstly, India has to buy American goods. So this arms deal is also part of that, because American economy runs on defense industry. So for them it's very important. Now,
and Trump is a businessman.
He is totally a businessman, and he was talking about reciprocal tariffs on it. But interestingly enough, at the visit, Mr. Modi did not say anything. It's very quiet. Probably he, with all his expectations of the visit, didn't expect it to go so bad, because it is well known that India's defense, India's defense basically has depended on Russian arms and technology.
They have been, buying arms from Russia since decades. There's nothing
since
new. Also from France, the Rafale.
Also from France, yes. So now it's like a death trap for them, because are they going to reorient their defense, mechanisms, systems?
Can it happen just like that in your point of view, or will it take time?
Exactly. So how will India wriggle out of it? Because when a head of state makes a commitment, it is expected that he will respect it. And I'm sure if Mr. Modi tries to wriggle out, Indians are very good at, wriggling out of situations. But I don't think Trump is the kind of a person who will let him wriggle out. So there are quite a few things, if you study the visit, which have put India in a very tight situation. Just before the visit, a plane with 100 illegal immigrants handcuffed landed in Delhi, New Delhi. So that itself was an interesting message, a curtain raiser for the visit.
True.
And you can see that sentiment followed through the visit. So I don't think Indians can celebrate Mr. Modi's achievements in United States of America.
But I'm sure the government must be under pressure to accept this deal because of their relationship with the US and how US has placed India on a pedestal in this very region against China.
And I'm not sure if India wants to be on that pedestal to be a bulwark against China.
Well, I don't know.
Because China is an important trading partner for India.
True. That is also.
And as yet, India had been playing the China card to benefit from the Western allies and friends and countries.
But now I feel,
now
they're in a quandary. This is what I see.
Exactly.
And let's see how they come out of that quandary. Fahad Masood, thank you very much to have joined us. Fahad, I'd like to understand, there are certain reports regarding the F-35 stealth jets. I'd like to understand how true or not they are. The Hindu says that the US has offered F-35 fighter jets, putting more pressure on India for defense deals. Then the Pentagon report is dated November the 21st, 2024, talks about the F-35 aircraft that is a combination of unreliable and flawed combat tests. It says, and I'm quoting it, F-35 performance was affected in 6-year combat trials. Concerns persist over maintenance delays, poor cannons and cyber defense capabilities. It sometimes falls immediately after takeoff and suffers from various technical problems during flight. And also serious malfunctions in its automated system sends an incorrect alert every hour, while the standard was set at 1 error after per 50 hours. Are there any technical glitches as far as the F-35 is concerned?
So thank you for your time. But this thing started back as a project in 1996 called the JSF, or the Joint Strike Fighter. Since then till date, the program has faced a lot of challenges. There are 3 specific variants, which is the F-35A, B, and C. All 3 have had their fair share of issues, and dating back from 2018 till now, 11 aircrafts have fallen victim to various errors. Pilot error, glitch in the software, some hardware issue, some connectivity issue. So there has always been downside of the F-35 instead of upping it anywhere across the world. And this does not happen only in the United States. It happens across the world in a lot of other air forces as well. The cost effect, as you mentioned correctly, is $80 million a piece. So that's not a very convenient price for a fighter aircraft. Yes, it has low observable stealth capability, sensor fusion, data fusion capability. Its HEMIX, or the HMD device on the helmets, are very high end, costing about $400,000 per helmet, which the pilots wear. So it's an expensive piece of equipment. That being said, it has been having or facing challenges technically as well. So it is not the best solution to a manned fighter program, because as Elon Musk had mentioned recently, that we are only making piloted fighter aircrafts so that pilots can be killed, whereas unmanned capability, they can do it better, more effective, and more efficiently. And it has been proven.
I'd like to stop you here if you don't mind, because you mentioned Elon Musk. And Elon Musk says, and that is what the Congress party is also using as leverage against the government as far as this deal is concerned. And, Elon Musk has described the F-35 as junk. And that is what the Congress says. If Elon Musk describes the F-35 as junk, then why is Narendra Modi hell-bent on buying it? That is what the Congress is saying. Also, the aircraft, a lot of people are saying, is expensive and has very high operational costs. Elon Musk also said, meanwhile, some idiots are still building manned fighter jets like the F-35, because he preferred having drones rather than F-35 jets. I'd like your take on that.
Yes, so drones are of various categories. There is a category which is known as UCAV, Unmanned Combat Aerial Vehicle, which includes the Loyal Wingman from the Tempest program in UK. It is something which is very, very useful for node operations, meaning thereby there is one manned aircraft and multiple loyal wingmen who are flying in cohorts with this one fighter aircraft. which controls it. And with the AI on board, it makes its valid choices, decisions, and makes the most of air combat or air to ground weapon delivery capability. The future is unmanned of military aviation as well as commercial aviation. There is no questions asked. It's only a matter of when, not if, that this thing is going to happen. And unmanned has its huge pluses in place as well. So long story short, we need to look at this in the context of the region, something that was being discussed before, that there has been, would India like to change the pivot from Russia to USA for its hardware or military component? This transition has already started. They have C-130 Juliets to the Chinooks to C-17s, Globemasters, which are American weapon systems and American aircrafts. The Teja has an American engine as well. So that is already in place slowly but surely. Can they do it full bore is a question that they need to answer.
A lot of questions that need to be answered when it comes to this deal. Naela Chohan Saiba, India is a long-standing customer of the US defense industry. We know last year also it acquired drones and other machinery from the US. But since the early 1990s, 70% of Indian Army weapons, 80% of its Air Force systems, 85% of its Navy platforms have been of Soviet origin. From 2016 to 2020, Russia accounted for nearly 49% of India's defense imports, while French and Israeli shares were 18% and 15% respectively. These are reports by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. I just want to say so that they don't say that I've made these numbers up. Now, last week Russia also offered to produce its 5th generation Sukhoi Su-57 aircraft in India with locally sourced components, saying production could begin as early as this year if India agreed. Russia has never shied away from transferring technology. US has. What happens now? Because if India agrees to this US deal, there might not be a transfer of technology and just the equipment, and for that it could be a more expensive process for them to take the aircrafts every time to the US or have them maintained by their experts as well. What's your take as far as that is concerned? And will it irk Russia?
It definitely will irk Russia, but Mr. Butt, I would recommend that we look at it in a bigger context. If you recall, from the time of the Bandung conference, we were talking about non-aligned. India was, non-aligned. Even then, I would say it was multi-aligned because it exploited whatever it could. Wasn't really technically non-aligned, but they played on that. But now they were talking about strategic autonomy of Indian foreign policy. At this moment, after this visit, a lot of questions are arising on Indian strategic autonomy in their foreign policy. If they take Russian Sukhoi aircraft technology, how will the Americans react to it? And if they take American jets, J-35, how would Russians? So now that sitting on the fence game is, I think, almost over. India has now to decide which way it's going to be, and whichever way it goes, there's a price to pay.
There is a price to pay. Fahad, last question to you.